Hello, my name is Parker, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, if you haven't gotten the chance to check out any of the episodes of this series previously, I do suggest you go do so now, as it is day 31, the final day of Echoes of the Past October, a month-long prompt event being run by none other than Typically Untypical. If you haven't already, go check them out. Sadly, our series is coming to an end. But with great things ending, new great doors open. Today's prompt is Hell is empty and all the devils are here. William Shakespeare, The Tempest. There are some trigger warnings for this episode, but I do hope you guys enjoy, and remember, viewer discretion is always advised with these episodes. I do hope you guys enjoy, and without any further ado, this is Demons in the Sky by none other than me. Demons in the Sky. They had watched the world fall apart mere months before. They were a group of 3. Some of the only people they knew were still alive. Most were killed off during the first few days, and those who remained did what they could just to stay alive. So, the 3 of them bit their tongues, and they braved the world on their own. Roman sighed. He'd been trying to help Logan, but Logan didn't want the help, and Patton was sewing, and that was so boring. He watched the outside through the one-sided window, watching the demons that appeared a few months back. He wanted to know what was going on, but he had no idea how he would survive if he went outside. He was scanning the almost wasteland-like outdoors when he saw it. A figure running through the darkness towards them. The figure looked injured, and Roman bolted through the secure bunker door, knowing full well that it could be a trap, a demon pretending to be a human, but also knowing he would never forgive himself if it was another person. So, he opened the door. In rushed a boy with a hood drawn up over his face and a bleeding leg. Roman slammed the door shut as soon as he was fully in, not even bothering to look what he just let into their bunker. He turned back to see a man, around his age, pulling down his hood. "That was reckless," he grumbled, and Roman felt his voice catch. He knew this man. With a slow nod, he looked towards the inner bunker. "Logan, I need you real quick," he yelled. The man was watching him with caution as he began shifting through the medical items. "Roman, for the last time, you cannot go outside just to go outside," Logan stated as he walked into the outer bunker, pulling his gloves off as he walked. The man made a choking noise in his throat. "Lo?" he muttered, and for the first time, Logan noticed him, freezing in his place for only a second before stripping his glove off and rushing to him. He lifted him and spun him in a circle as though he weighed nothing. "Virgil, I thought I would never see you again," he stated, finally, after setting him down and pressing his head to his shoulder. Virgil squeaked, seeming to literally melt. Logan had never looked so vulnerable as he did when he stood there like that. It made Roman think of why they were even separated. He had been dating Virgil's friend, Janice, and they got in a fight, so Logan was with Roman and Virgil was with Janice when the world went to hell. Roman had to close his eyes for a second so that he wouldn't cry. He had tried so hard not to think about Janice. "What about the others?" Logan finally asked, moving away from Virgil, albeit not much. Virgil smiled slightly at him with an adorational, faraway look. "They're safe. They are about 2 miles from here. I left for food and couldn't make it back," he answered, pointing toward his backpack. Logan seemed to barely notice he was bleeding. After a lot of talk, they finally agreed to find him. Logan and Roman agreed to go after some arguing. It took longer than they hoped, and they hadn't gone without injury, but they made it, still carrying enough food for the pair they had been searching for, praying they weren't too late as they pried the doors open, closing them hard behind them. A faint noise sounded from the far side of the area. So soft, Roman barely caught it, but he recognized it. "V," the voice whispered. Roman felt his breath catch. "Janice?" he cried out, searching the area, and suddenly a hatch in the floor opened, revealing Janice and Remus, both looking exhausted and far too skinny, but they were alive, and that was matter. Roman looked at his twin with shock before tears began to flow down his face. he murmured as he came closer, embracing him tightly, and for the first time in his life, Remus said nothing. Janice watched with reserved sadness as his best friend embraced the man he had fallen in love with for so many years ago. When Roman finally let go of Remus so he could eat, he turned towards Janice. He was different, yet at the same time, he could tell immediately that it was him. Slowly, he opened his arms to offer Janice a hug, and for only a second, he thought Janice would reject his hug. But then he stepped forward into it. They ate everything but some beef jerky that Logan insisted they saved for the journey back. They would have eaten that too if Logan had let them. After that, Janice and Remus treated their wounds with the first aid kits they had. It took them a little over an hour to finally gather up all their stuff and be ready to leave. So, finally they set off, heading back in the direction that they had come to get there. It took a long time to get home, but eventually they found themselves pounding on the bunker doors. They watched them slide open fluidly. Roman carried an injured Janice, and Remus, with Logan's arm flung over his shoulder, helping him walk. They stepped through the door, collapsing soon after, happy to be alive. Patton took Janice to patch him up, so with one last look towards the outdoors as the door slid closed, Roman found that maybe he could be happy and live a good life there, even with demons in the skies, if he could have these people around them. As long as they were there, he could live with that. I do hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I know I did, and I'm so happy and sad to announce this is the final day of Echoes of the Past October. I will see you all next Tuesday.